up, guys? I'm Nick. I'm going to be going through whether or not you should buy a 2005 to 2009 Mustang GT in 2025. First thing, motor, okay? That's usually not a strong point for this car when people are talking about it. It's usually the number one thing they shit on, actually. I think it's one of the best things for this car, and I'll get into why. First off is the sound, obviously. You can can these things. They sound amazing. Between this and the Voodoo and maybe the motor in that GT40 Mark II, those might be the top 3 best sounding motors that Ford has ever made, period. Second is reliability. I don't know what people mean when they say these things aren't reliable. My last motor, the first motor, went to 209,000 miles and it only broke because I put heads back in the car with sand in them and that just totaled it. It would have been, if I didn't crack into that motor at all, then it probably would have gone to 300. And I took awful care of it. Like, I'm saying maybe oil changes every 10,000 miles. Like, I didn't care if it overheated, like stuff like that. I was just beating the piss out of it. That's why I had no problem swapping a junkyard motor in with 160,000 miles, because it's gonna last for at least, I don't know, 2-3 years. And I plan on building another motor after that, so that's plenty of time. I guess like the elephant in the room here is the fact that it has 300 horsepower. Everybody shits on it for being slow as hell, and like they just like clown on these things because they don't come out of the factory fast. I don't know, I feel like it's just a big like pissing contest now. Also, my second point would be, if you can't have fun with 300 horsepower, then like you gotta reevaluate some things, because this shit is fun. Okay, I don't care who says what. This is fun. Obviously, I got cams, full bolt-ons. It's probably, I don't know, I'm gonna get it dynoed in probably like a week, 2 weeks. It's probably like sitting 350 to 370, somewhere around that range to the wheels. But for 2 years, I ran this thing on 93 with just a cold air intake, and it was super snappy, had a lot of torque in the low end. It was fun. I never got bored of it. And honestly, it's really, you can boost it up to 450, and I will always say this, a boosted 4.6 will always be cooler than a stock 5.0. I do not care. So anyways, I'm never gonna shit on these motors, because the Coyote is so good because of the fact that these sold so much and they were able to develop that. And that's what people don't really understand. Like, nobody else was making muscle cars from 2005 to 2009 other than, like, I mean, you had Corvettes, but that doesn't really count. That's more of a sports car. Sorry, I just got off on a rant there. Reliability, sound, and the fact that seeing a built 4.6 or even a 4.6 with mods is still more rare no matter what than any of these guys that come out with their 5.0s with bolt-ons thinking they're special. Because you don't really see built 4.6s very much. There's really not that many of them. I feel like the 5.0 is like, you know, the M3 of Instagram right now, where like everybody has one, and they're kind of like, it's so diluted to the point where like if you have one, it's not like super special. Even though I love both of them and I would love to own both of them, there's just not, it doesn't like hit you when you see it, if that makes any sense. Okay, so we did the motor. Next thing we'll go into is looks. I really don't think you can beat this for the money at all. This is probably the best car you can buy for, you know, best looking car you can buy for under 10 grand, without a doubt. And don't try to tell me that C5s are under 10 grand. They're not. They're 15. Unless you buy some salvage title that was like, you know, lost in Atlantis and then somehow it came back to life. Like, that's, C5s are off the table, okay? Obviously, I put a lot of money into the outside of this car, probably too much, but every time I look at it, it's just like, it's so sick. The body lines are, you know, they're kind of like the 66, 69, it kind of got away, but 66 to 68, it's kind of reminiscent of that a little bit, just a little more bulkier. I really think like new edges and the S550s, that's where we're getting away from the whole like muscle deal. And the 5.0s, like the Coyotes in there, they sound too refined, if that makes any sense. These are just like, it's a raw looking car with a raw motor, they sound like almost classic. And that's what I like about it, because it's like a true muscle car, you know? I would put this next to a, you know, Dodge Charger. Not a new one, an older one. Whatever. I'm explaining this point really bad, but honestly, I don't really think I need to explain it. You guys know it looks good, so. All right, next thing, maintenance. It virtually doesn't exist. Maybe spark plugs every now and then, and yeah, you always have the people that like really mess up taking them out, and they'll be like, oh, it cracked inside the block, I gotta go into all the cylinders and take them out. And it's like, just take them out the right way and put them in the right way. That's never been a problem. Honestly, other than a couple pulleys, a timing belt, obviously the alternators, they love to go bad, but I've only replaced it twice after almost 2.5, 3 years. Other than that, there's really nothing. When I was first learning how to drive this, my roommate and I managed to blow our clutch out twice in a span of like 2 months. But once I got a McLeod clutch in here, it was just the OEM one, it's pretty basic. Once I put that in, I have not had a problem since. I literally have touched like none of this. I did control arm bushings when I got coilovers just because I needed to. It was really loud. But then again, it's just like so easy to maintain. There is literally, I don't worry about anything at all. Now, obviously now I've got cams in here with, you know, an all new valve train and, you know, FBO, whatever, and it runs hot and I drive it hard every now and then. So I'm changing oil like every 4,000 to 5,000 miles. But even before that, I mean, it's a Ford 4.6. It's not gonna like break down on you or anything. And if it does, then either you're unlucky or you just don't need to have one. I virtually do nothing with this other than oil changes right now. So yeah, I mean, I didn't even change the spark plugs until I put the cams in, and I had driven like 60, 70,000 miles with them, and it was just perfectly fine. So yeah, and also with the transmission, never touched anything with the transmission. I also did notice at one point there was a lockout on going to third, and that changed when I put that McLeod OEM clutch in. So just know that if you're putting shitty clutches in your car, like Duralast or whatever, you're gonna get locked out of gears, and it's not your synchros, it's not your trans, it's not any of that. It's because of your clutch. Like, so that is fixed. Now I do have one thing I need to fix. I need to get upper BMR control arms for the rear, because I put in a one-piece drive shaft and I dropped the motor about 1.5 inches to fit under this hood right here because it's pretty flat. The sniper would not close if I didn't do that, or would not allow the hood to close if I didn't do that. So basically what's going on is I have the motor down here and my drive shaft is like this, and every time I hit the gas, the suspension will compress on the back, bringing the drive shaft and pinion angle up like that, and the drive shaft will rub up on the top, and yeah, it's just not great. But that's like my fault, right? I didn't think about that when I put that in the car. Other than that, there's nothing wrong with this at all, and I've had it for 3 years. You know, pretty much every part on here is 213,000 miles. I bought it when it had 140, so I put, yeah, like 73K on it probably in 2.5 years. No complaints at all. Now there are like some stupid things, like my seat only goes forward, it won't go back unless I like really somehow jam it. There's just a short somewhere in there. Okay, this might be the last thing, but customization and uniqueness. This has like, I honestly think this car has one of the biggest aftermarket supports out of like any car. I'm not kidding. I mean, you can go and buy, I mean, there's like dozens of options for everything. And now we got people like STangLights, Carter's Customs, Brandon 66 Polar. Like these guys are all making parts like right now for these cars. We got Trufiber, Anderson Composites, like all these brands are making new 3-valve parts. So like it's never gonna run out. I honestly don't think it's been better than it is right now for all these things. Now, obviously, there are a couple things that are like pretty hard to find. My hood being one of them, because I don't even know. They might have only made like 15 of them. It's Keystone's Customs. Those don't exist anymore. Trufiber makes the A45. It's got the cowl. I don't really like it that much, but. So yeah, you have all these companies making parts for these cars. You can basically make it however you want. And that's the cool thing, is that makes it unique. And another thing about that is that every 3-valve that I see around me in person is kind of clapped. You see all the good looking ones on Instagram, right? But when you're driving day to day, you don't really see a nice looking 3-valve ever. They're all somehow clapped. I guess you kind of, it hits a little harder when you've got a nicely built 3-valve, because it's rare to see those. If people are used to seeing crappy ones, it's rare to see a nice one. And it makes, the car a little more special than, say, if you were to just save up a little bit and buy a stock 5.0. You could buy a 3-valve and spend the same amount of money on mods that you would have a stock 5.0, and you'll get 3 times as much attention because you have a nice looking 3-valve. I think part of why my car gets so much attention is because of the fact that everything kind of like matches together. Now obviously there's still some things I need to change, like I need a CS bumper, I need to make a splitter for it. I am gonna do something with the hood. I might get a new hood, or I might make this one very cool. I don't know yet. And then, put bags and stuff like that. But it's all kind of like in harmony with each other. Like all the mods I've done, they all kind of go for like one common goal, where it's like this OEM plus futuristic kind of deal. A lot of comments I've been seeing lately are like that the headlights are super basic. When I first got these headlights, almost nobody had these. So it's kind of funny now hearing that, because back then, like, there were only like 10 cars with these back when I first bought them. Now everybody has them, and whether that's because of me or anyone else, it doesn't matter. But I just think it's kind of funny that people are calling them super basic now, which I guess that's kind of a compliment in itself, because they do look good. So I guess the last point that I'll make is pricing. If I didn't have one of these right now and I wanted one, I would absolutely buy it as quickly as possible. Because 2 years ago, or 2.5, maybe 3, when I bought this, it was $8,000 with 140,000 miles. It was a one owner though. Like, it was their baby, mechanically perfect, like new clutch, all that sort of stuff. So I had no problem spending 8 on that, because I knew they were reliable and whatever. But now they're starting to get, it's hard to find one under 10. It's like 10 to 14. I mean, I've seen some even 16, and they're selling, which is, paying almost double than I did for a borderline stock 3-valve is kind of crazy to me. Like, what are we doing? I mean, these should never be worth any more than 10 grand, in my opinion. Do not buy one for more than that. This is a perfect 10 grand car. So if you can find one for that, I would just kind of cash in, because they're not gonna go lower unless the car market just falls off the face of the earth. If anything, they're just gonna keep appreciating, and if you want to flip it, then go for it. All right, so that'll wrap up this video. It's definitely all over the place again, but I guess you guys are kind of used to that now. The script was written in my head about 10 minutes ago. So other than that, all I had was an idea. A lot of effort put into this. But no, I think honestly with all that stuff, I mean, I know I went through the motor, I went through reliability, the looks, uniqueness, and the price. You really can't beat those, especially now. And honestly, these cars can take a beating. You get into some other cars, like German cars, for example, for the same price range, and like, I mean, it's honestly scary how bad a car can be that can sell for $10,000. I can't really think of any bad things about this car other than the fact that, you know, teenage TikTok boys think that the motor sucks because it's not, you know, 500 horsepower stock or whatever. Other than that, I really can't think of anything that's bad about this car for $10,000 at least. I mean, I think it's a no-brainer. I'm a little biased, obviously, but when I first bought this car, I didn't even want to buy this car. I just wanted a car with a V8. I had a 2007 F-150 with the 5.4 Triton V8 in it, which that thing sucks, but that's a different story. This was slightly familiar, and it was, you know, something I could buy at the time. So it was either this or I go into debt and the bank owns half of a Gen 1 Coyote. So I went with this. I thought it was ugly, but I kind of had a vision for it. And it looks the way it does, and I'm making videos about it now because people want that. So I think it was the right choice, and if I were you, I would probably get one too, if it's something that you're considering. Thanks for watching. Trying to upload more. I've been working a bunch because I'm saving up for a new car. Second car, not selling this ever. Don't worry about that. Alright, thanks for watching. I'm trying to upload more, but it's kind of hard because I only get like one off day a week usually. I'm trying to work more to save for a second car. It's gonna be a sick one, but I need a lot of money for it, and it's kind of hard to like post edits every day and film a YouTube video and do all that. So I'm trying to juggle a bunch, and I'm not getting videos out as fast as I want to. But yeah, I figured this one would just be a good, quick one. And see you guys next time. Thanks.